My name's Jack Soren. I'm from the North Shore of Oahu, and I'm a full-time artist.
Jack, what was your? Did you have any influences as far as art goes that got you to have the style of art that you do?
Yeah, I think one of the things that influenced my artwork was the vintage or the old school surf scene, like Duke Kahanamoku and the Waikiki Boys, and that time period I feel is very authentic, where people did a lot of things for love and that they loved the sport of surfing. And examples like Duke Kahanamoku, he shared surfing with the world. He taught surf lessons to tourists and people who came and visited Hawaii, and it was just a time that I feel like I resonate more with.
Right.
And I feel like I learn a lot from those characters in that time and how people were back then. Very giving still, and very, I guess, just had that aloha spirit. And so paintings that I do have that style of that vintage and that authentic lifestyle, to kind of bring it back, to share that again, that same spirit and that same lifestyle today, when things kind of get a little bit dog-eat-dog world. Being able to share that period and that spirit in a new form, in a different way, to reteach those lessons that I'm learning from studying the past. And so that's really influenced my artwork and my direction as an artist.
You can definitely feel that in your art when you look at it. You can feel the throwback and exactly what you said. You know. What about like the color references, like the colors that you choose to use? Where do you get that from?
So color to me it represents life. Because whenever in the fall time, when the leaves start dying, everything kind of turns brown and orange, still really colorful. But by the time it's winter, everything's everything organic dies, and it's a darker grayish color. But when spring comes, like, beautiful colors come out, like your pastels, your yellows, your pinks, blues, and that's life. Like, that's bringing things back to life. And so, in a sense, taking that history and vintage and authentic spirit combined with the colors, it's almost like bringing that back to life today and sharing that with people who might not have that type of fullness or saturation in their life, and kind of just brightening their lifehood or their day-to-day, might be dull and gray, but seeing like a mural or seeing a piece of work that's colorful changes their mood, kind of brings them back to life, brings their day back to life, So, yeah.
How long did it take you to do those pieces that you put together for the show?
So I've kind of refined my process to where I plan out all the paintings. I know what colors they're gonna be, everything well beforehand, before I start painting them, just so that once I get to the canvas, I'm already planned out. I know what I'm gonna do. I don't spend a lot of time like, is that right? Because I figured it out beforehand. But one of the cool things that comes with the actual painting process is there's a lot of things that are discovered during it. Like, I'll plan it out, but things never go according to plan.
Right.
And so that's where a lot of the really creative sparks happen during the painting process. So the planning process kind of sets me up, but during the painting process, there'll be a color that doesn't mix well, so I gotta figure it out, and then it almost becomes like one of the key parts of the painting, because I had to really put my head and creativity into that to make it all work. And always the organic painting rather than the planning looks a lot better than any digital or previous pre-artwork. But just the strokes and the colors, or even just how the colors turn out, they always turn out a little bit different than I expect, and they're almost, it works sometimes, it works a lot of the time. And looks better than the pre-artwork. So that process, I kind of got it down to where it's pretty quick. But I was mentioning as we were setting up, like I painted those, I think there's 7 pieces within the span of 4.5 days. And I was just day and night just banging them out, painting. It's nice that I had everything prepped, I had my colors mixed, I had the artwork already kind of laid out in my brain and planned out, but we got back from Colorado a week before, and then it's straight to painting, and then made it out here, and it turned out well, and sold a few paintings, and people liked it. So
Awesome.
it's a pretty intense week. My wife will tell you, she'll know, like, the 2 nights where, yep, he's gonna be up all night. She goes to bed, and I'm just painting for the rest of the night.
Right.
So,
Can you give me just kind of in your words a summary on your experience?
it was just a big party. It was just a party with friends. It felt like back home in Hawaii, where you didn't really need to know who's who or what's what or any names. You just show up with a plate of rice, and you just get to it and start eating and hang out with all your friends, and that's what it felt like. It was really welcoming, really comforting. Met a lot of amazing people, amazing artists, and everyone was just on the same level of hanging out and having a good time. And that's what it's about to me. Like, I'm glad that I met a lot of friends, and we just kicked it. It was cool.
Nice. And you guys got out here a few days ahead of time, just to get prepared. Were you working on your art, or what were you guys doing?
I was working on my art just before we came, and I had to really hustle and finish all my pieces before we had to drive out here. So it was nice to have all my pieces done, because usually for my art shows I'm like cramming the night before till 4 in the morning just to make sure everything's where I need it to be. But it was nice to come here, have enough people to work together with. Like, we had a good team with Ari, with Rod and Lionel, that we were able to have a space, hang the art. Lionel took care of the music, and Rod had the barbecue going. Like, it went perfect, very smooth, and it was a good time. Usually with my art shows and stuff, I'm like, where's this, what's that? But everything flowed well, and yeah, it turned out great.
We always think of the art show, what it's all about is actually the day of and when it happens. But to me, it's always like the process leading up to, and that's what you'll remember. One of the things that I noticed at the art show was there was a lot of connection with the audience and your art in particular. I saw a lot of people taking photos in front of your art, and just it was cool to see the interaction. You know what I mean? It's like people were gravitating towards that. And one of my good friends, photographer here, he bought him and I think his daughter bought a piece of your art. Markel Kami, daughter Tess, yeah. And she was so happy walking around with that. I think I got a picture.
I got a photo with her.
Yeah.
She's cool.
They're super stoked on it. So definitely leaving an impression wherever you go with your art. So.
Sweet. I'm glad. Yeah, that's something that I was pretty excited about when what was his name?
Mark.
When Mark came up to me and he was like, hey, we want to buy one of the wave paintings for my daughter. And I was like, oh, sick. And then she was so excited to show me which one and pointed it out. And when I pulled it down and gave it to her, she was just big smiles and all happy. And that's rewarding for me, to just see that I stoked out a kid, someone like the younger generation, and who knows how that will affect her, to influence her creative spark, and her creativity. And so it was cool to see how excited she was, and helps me to know that I'm doing something good, Yeah, so sure. It's always nice to see that.
For sure. All right, so we're gonna wrap this interview up, and I just wanted to to ask Jack, you know, if there's anybody that you'd like to thank in regards to anybody that helped out with the show or whatnot.
For sure. No, I'd like to thank Ari for the spot at Labwerkz. Like, that was an amazing venue that we were able to have a band and, you know, Lionel and his music there, and then our art, and Rod outside with barbecue. So Ari, Lionel with his music, and Rod at the barbecue, manning the grill and supplying us with the stees, and Lawrence and Kelsey, Christian, McKenna, all the artists that participated, and my wife, of course, for being patient and so supportive with me and helping me get out there. She's the ultimate hanger. She knows how to hang the art and make sure it looks good. Everything with me is kind of lopsided sometimes, but she's my biggest support. And I'm just grateful for all the friends that came out and all the new friends that I've met. And so it is an exciting time, and I'm excited for more. Stoked to have more shows and do more events with these awesome guys.
Right on, Jack. Well, thank you so much again for being our part of our show. We enjoyed having you, and we definitely look forward to having you on some of our future and upcoming shows here in Long Beach and wherever.
Wherever it takes us,
exactly.
around the world.
Right. Thank you, bro.